right? So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let me set all my screens up. Okay. So yeah, so we did a robot butler sort of themed store. So this is our landing page. We have this nice little carousel, and we can go into all products, and you can see the robots that are for sale. I guess we can add, or I guess we can, let's do a search. We can search for, we have anyway, we can search for any particular product, and it brings us to a product detail page with reviews that are all randomly generated right now, or generated to be the same. And we can flip through pictures. We can add Marvin to our cart. And in the upper right-hand corner, our cart then turns blue, and it shows how many products that are currently in it. So if you go
The
into
President
cart,
of the
we can
United
see
States
that we got
steps
Marvin,
into view.
we got order total. If we log in, I can't remember Barack, so we're just gonna. If we log in and let's say navigate away, our cart still stays there, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so then I guess we can change our quantity in the cart. So let's say we want 10 Marvins, and then our order total updates. We can remove Marvin from a cart. I'm gonna re-add. So we can also add directly from the product page, and then if we want to check out, sending it to a real email so that you can see when we do check out, we get an email saying, thank you for your order, with a little order number. And then we can see our orders. Actually, there's a link here. Our order history with ID, date, etc. Yeah, so I guess that's the basic functionality of the app. Joey or Mark, if I missed anything, feel free to yell at me. In terms of our code itself, so we kind of selected different parts that we each were proud of. There's a couple of tests, and so I guess me personally, I actually am very proud of the cart functionality and the whole just like checkout process, just because it was kind of an ordeal to do, and the way we did it wasn't necessarily ideal, so we were maybe fighting against it a little bit. We saved it on the session, which has its drawbacks and benefits. But so I guess here's the actual cart component. There's nothing super special here, but it's rendering each product here, which is all here. And then so this is each individual product that's in the cart. We have, let's see, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Our update quantity, that goes to the back end. And then when we check out, that is here, sorry. When we check out, this on submit dispatches to our Redux, which sends an AJAX request to the backend. So this is kind of a complicated route that we should maybe split up into individual ones eventually. But basically, if your product is already in the cart, it'll actually just update the quantity rather than kind of add a new product. And then if not, then it'll add the new product to your cart. And when you check out, creates the order, it'll find all the products. And then Joey created this cool add product to order so that we didn't actually have to manually like query a ton of our databases. And you just add the product and quantity, and then it'll send you an email, which I thought was cool. And then I guess one of our tests, and Joey will talk about the other, but the user tests, in terms of the tests themselves, they're not particularly special in the sense that like they're super complex or anything. They just kind of test the validations, passwords, things like that. But it kind of set the foundation for the rest of our tests because it was the first suite of tests that we did. So yeah, and then I will hand it off to Mark, who will talk about some of
yeah, let me go ahead and actually share my screen quick. So the one part of the code that I enjoyed writing the most, I think, well, one of the ones that was challenging was for the filter on the browse products page. So this is where that is done right in here. At first, I was trying to put this view products array into some state, and I was fighting with trying to get access to all the variables I needed. So I finally just dumped it right in front of the return on the actual component rendering. It actually was really pretty straightforward after I kind of I realized it didn't have to be on any state. I still could make this more efficient by just doing it in line. Like rather than saving it as a new variable, I could have just simply, run filter on the property itself. But I chose not to do that. So I was kind of proud of that. I also really enjoy actually composing some React components. So I like to think that this is broken out pretty well. I've got my reviews as one thing, my image viewer is another. Not to get ahead of myself, but one thing I think we could have done differently was kind of planning ahead a little bit better with these. Because, for instance, if I come into my product detail image viewer, I have this main image, which could have been a thumbnail component that would have been reusable, like on the cart page and stuff like that too. So we probably could have saved a little work for ourselves. But that's the filter. That's how it works. You can search by that. And then I also started writing this review, but it is not complete, as you can see. So that's kind of it for me for the moment. Joey, if you want to talk about your the stuff you were proud of.
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen then. So one big thing that I'm really proud of was actually the nav bar. I spent a lot of time trying to make it look and feel functional. So kind of like looks kind of nice here. These signups and logins both works. This hello guest obviously changes if I log in. So I was really proud of that. Look at the code here real fast. I kind of started with a template for a nav bar and then I built off of it a lot. And it was really, I felt really challenged by it and really like rewarding as I was like really learning more about the front end as I was building it. So kind of like my favorite thing on there is how the cart updates. If I go and add things to the cart and updates in real time and it changes blue and it's always keeping a constant counter of how much is in my cart. Which is basically just like it's mostly a ternary statement that's checking the state of the cart at any given time. So one thing that was still under construction, and I'm really sad I didn't get it to work right, was we wanted to be able to log in with Google. So this is our live site right now on Heroku, and then this is our like a branch I was working on to try and get Google Auth working. And I actually got Google login working. So you can log in as a Google user and then log out and then log back in. But in the process of doing that, I broke my normal login. So I can log in completely as a Google user and that's it. I can't log in as anybody else anymore. And I didn't have enough time to figure out how to fix that. And I was really, really sad about that, unfortunately. So another thing I was really proud about, and this is probably something I also would do over, was this seed file took me probably a whole day to write. But I was really proud when I got it done. It fought with me for a while, and originally I'd finished a seed file and it wasn't working properly. It wasn't validating correctly, so I said, forget it, I can't waste any more time in this. But there came a point where it's like, okay, I actually need more data, so I had to fix it. And when it all came together and worked really nicely, I was really, really proud of it. So basically, this was originally only 5 products, but Mark needed more for his products pages and stuff, so I threw in another 30 products in here, so it looks really messy right now. So it just kind of builds, it starts by like building users up here in an array of creates, and then it does like a promise all, it sees as well. And it does like promise.alls for those and just returns them. And then what it does is it goes through each product and will randomly generate ratings for the products. And then for each rating, it'll randomly generate a number of reviews for the ratings and assign them to the user. Then it will randomly generate orders, add random amounts of products to it, and then randomly, and then it like assigns everything with proper associations in the database as well, which I was really, really proud of that. But like I said, if I had to do anything over, I would not spend a day and a half working on it, even no matter how happy I was I got it finished. Another really nice test that I think we built was for our ratings database. Even though we actually didn't end up implementing ratings in our site at the end, it was in our database. So basically, it just works by I create a user, a product, a rating, and a review. And I have a promise.all that returns for all of those in a for loop for everything. And then for each one, it's just checks for the ratings. And then here it does SQLized associations here, and it just assigns like the rating to the user and all that. And really, I'm just trying to check to make sure that all the associations were set up properly, that I was getting the proper user for my rating, I was getting the proper review for my rating, and everything was coming out really nicely. I was pretty happy about that. I think that's all I got. So yeah, that's our site.